Okay, let's talk about how to read the Vizrt language. And we're going to use an example scene here and the show commands to teach you how to read and understand the Vizrt language. So to do this, as you can see, we just have a quick scene setup here that we have a graphic. It's got a couple of different parts to it. We have a position and or a seed. We got a name. We have a flag or a logo and two other numerical elements that we can change here. Within our scene tree, we have the bar data, which is basically all the text and things, and then we have a design behind it. Now, to give you an example of what the Vizrt language is here, we are going to work within the show commands window. So we're going to come up into our show commands button where you are going to click on that and it brings up this window. Now, first of all, anytime that we issue a command or do anything within Vizrt, make a click with our mouse, it issues a command within our show commands window. So as you can see, if I click on the transformation axis editor of our bar group within our scene tree, it's going to issue a command, and we have a couple of commands here. It says transformation position Y get, transformation position Z get. So this is how we can start picking out the language within our Vizrt. Because we clicked on the transformation part of our group, which we can come over into here, it says transformation, we can kind of see what's going on here. It says transformation rotation Y in here, and we have the same properties over here. So transformation, we have a position X, Y, and Z, a rotation X, Y, and Z, and so forth. To actually put this together and show you what we mean, what we're going to do is come into our show commands window and type. Now when we do that, we can need to type some specific commands, and to do that we're going to type send first, and this is just going to send the command. Now we need to tell it which scene that we're working with first of all. So I'm going to type in main scene, and main scene means that we are working with this particular scene here that is open. Now we need to tell it where we want to go within the scene that we want to access. So up here in the upper left, I'm in the tree window. So I'm going to come into our script here, or our Vizrt command line, and type in tree. And notice that we are putting an asterisk between each one of these commands here. And this is very language specific, so you'll need to pay attention to where these little asterisks go between your words. Now that we have our main scene that we are working in, we know what part of the scene that we want to go to, the tree. We now need to tell it what we want to access within the tree. And we want to access the name of this group or container, which is bar. So every time we are accessing a specific name and or a container, we'll need the $sign. And now the specific name of that group or container. So we're going to type in bar to match what it's up here. Now we're going to hit the asterisk again. Now we need to tell it what we want it to do or where we want it to go. And like last time we hit the transformation editor, we're going to tell it to do the same thing. So we're going to use transformation. So we're going to come in here and type in transformation, and it's all capitals again. And now we need to tell it what's going to happen within our transformation. So within our transformation, I have options here. Do I want to send it the position, the rotation, the scaling? So let's go position, right? So we're going to type in position set. And now since we have 3 coordinates for the position, we need 3 numerical coordinates. So let's type in some random numbers here. We'll go 150 for the X coordinate. We'll go 34 for the Y coordinate, and -10 for the Z coordinate. When we hit enter here, you can see that it moved our entire bar up to these coordinates that we entered. So if we just come down here and reset our bar again, you can see that it issues more commands. So now if we wanted to access each individual container within the scene, we could do that as well. And we have our naming conventions here. So as we expose the different containers within our group here, you can see that we also have some additional containers and naming conventions that we can work with. So last time we just accessed the whole bar and we did the transformation. Now we have other options here that we could also write commands to, such as text and images and so forth. So to get a quick example of how this would work, let's say we wanted to access one of these containers within these other containers. Now it's going to get a little bit more complicated because we have containers within a container. And let's say we want to access this particular text group right here and change that text. We're going to come into our show commands. We're going to give ourselves a little bit of space here. I'm going to hit enter a couple of times. I'm going to type in send. We're going to start with main scene, which is this scene here. Now, again, we're going to tell it where to go. We are in the tree. And this time, again, we need to tell it which container. So our first container name here is bar. So I'm going to type $bar. Then I'm going to type another $sign because we are going into subcontainer, which is now called bar data. So I'm going to type the exact words of what bar data is. And now one more $sign because I want to access that container, which is labeled seed. So we're going to call this seed. Now we're going to type in asterisk, and we need to tell it what we want it to do and what we want to change. In this particular case, we want to change the text. So we need to access property of the text. And to do that, we come in and we type geom, and we're going to type text set. And now we just need to tell it what number or variable we want. And we hit enter, and you can see that it changed that text. Now, how do you know this geometry text? And that's again by clicking in any of these areas here. When you click on it, you can come in and start to pick out the particular variables that you will need for each particular container. So we sent a geometry text. Now we can do this once more just to break this down again and to try to explain once more what is going on here. So first we want to send or type in send, and we only need to do this when we're working in the show commands window within Vizrt Artist. Now we need to tell it which scene we are in, which is this scene that we're currently working in, and the command for that when we work within the show commands window is main scene. And then we just hit an asterisk. We need to tell it where we want to access it, and it's the tree. So we need to tell it which containers or groups that we want. First, we're going to put the $sign to tell it that this is a name of a container, and we need to follow the exact name of that container, which is bar, capital B with a small a and R. Now we need to type another $sign for the subgroup, which is bar data. And then finally, we are just going to type one more $sign so that we can access our final group, which is called name. Now, since name is a text group or a font, it's basically a geometry. So that's what type of container it is. And we are going to type in geom here because geom is short for geometry. We need to tell it what type of geometry it is. It is a text geometry. And now we need to tell it what we want to change the text to. So it's going to say text set, and then we just need the answer here. So let's create a name. We're just going to say Jerry North, and we're going to hit enter, and you can see that it now changed our text on that line because we navigated to our tree. We wanted to go into the bar and the bar data and come down and find the container named name, which is right here. And then we told it that it is a geometry, which in this case is a font or a text. And then we told it what we wanted to change to.